begin our analysis of the right of free worship with the second of the two religion clauses of the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. While this language sounds absolute, the Supreme Court has interpreted it to mean that while religious beliefs are absolute, religious practices may be restricted, that government may place reasonable restrictions on religious practices. In the middle part of the 20th century, the Supreme Court developed a test to inform its efforts to draw the line between the free exercise rights of individuals on the one hand and the interests of government on the other hand. The Court has upheld that standard that says that individuals must comply with federal, state, and local laws that restrict religious practices, provided the law is both valid and neutral. Valid means that the government has a compelling interest that warrants restricting the individual's religious practices. Neutral means that the law does not single out a particular religious sect for regulation. This became known as the valid secular test. The Court had actually been attempting to apply something like the valid secular test even earlier. In 1878, the Supreme Court had upheld an act of Congress prohibiting the practice of polygamy in the Utah Territory. George Reynolds, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, had been convicted of violating the federal law after marrying Amelia Jane Schofield while still married to Mary Ann Tuttleham. Reynolds argued in his defense that multiple marriage was a fundamental tenet of his religious faith, and that the act of Congress denied him his free exercise rights under the First Amendment. The Court held that the law prohibiting polygamy was not based on religious motivation. The fact that a person could only be married to one person had existed since the times of King James I of England in English common law. Although the Constitution did not define religion, the Court investigated the history of religious freedom in the United States. In the ruling, the Court quoted a letter from Thomas Jefferson in which he stated that there was a distinction between religious belief and action that flowed from the religious belief. The former, quote, lies solely between man and his God, end quote. Therefore, quote, the legislative powers of the government reach actions only and not opinions, end quote. The Court argued that if we allowed polygamy, how long before someone argued that human sacrifice was a necessary part of their religion? And, quote, to permit this would be to make the professed doctrines of religious belief superior to the law of the land, and in effect to permit every citizen to become a law unto himself, unquote. The Court believed the true spirit of the First Amendment was that Congress could not legislate against opinion, but could legislate against action.